Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, y'all? This is No Noise with your host, Z-Rex, coming at you on September 2nd, 2018. Doing a little bit earlier today. I hope y'all had a pretty awesome weekend. It's been a pretty busy one for me, which is good. I don't mind that. Got some nice price action in cryptos. Busy at the shop. Life is good thus far. So we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about a Bitcoin stress test result, which was pretty impressive. We're also going to talk about some Bittrex getting into a Malta-based blockchain firm, and a little bit on Ripple stats on partnering also with Bittrex. Bittrex is just kind of getting a little bit across the board here in all kinds of things. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this. Oh, and of course we're going to do some TA as always. And since it is Sunday, we will be looking at little traditional markets towards the end of the show. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's start with that Bitcoin Cash stress test results. So 2.1 million transactions did not cause a surge in fees. So this was a community-based stress test. This is a really cool idea. I would like to see this across the board with lots of other different coins to just kind of see how they can handle. Banks do this all the time, stress test on their finances and the risk, in the portfolios. They simulate, if a 20% move happened, what would happen to their holdings, etc. So it was a community-driven test on the mainnet, and they had a whole website for it. You can go check it out. As always, I do timestamps in the videos, and I put all the sources from the websites that I see right in the description, so you can go check them out for yourself. But anyway, so they conducted this yesterday, and apparently it's about 10 weeks before their scheduled November upgrade. And they want to hopefully do this stress test on an annual basis. I think that's a great idea. That sounds awesome. Let's see. The share of the Bitcoin Cash transaction amounted to 63% of all crypto transactions for that 24-hour time yesterday that they did the stress test. Here's a little graph here you can see. That's pretty impressive, y'all. I know there's a lot of hate for Roger and Bitcoin Cash, and communities divided, very much so in that respect, but you can't really argue that this was a very successful test. Let's see, they surged between, depending on if you were on Coindance or fork.lol, it was between about 15,000 and 25,000 transactions per block, up from the average of 90 to 150. So they put some serious stress on the network to see. And to compare, the average number of transactions per block on Bitcoin is about 1,000 to 1,500. So as you can see, it was even doing quite a bit larger, like minimum 14 times the Bitcoin average block size. So this is a pretty, I really like that it didn't have any issues. The fees stayed low. I don't know, pretty interesting, guys. Just some food for thought there. Bitcoin Cash performing very well. Obviously, the second currency and number of transactions would be good old Butterol, Mr. Ethereum, Unicorn Man. But yeah, good job, Bitcoin Cash. Hate it or love it, they definitely had a successful stress test on their network. We all know that Bitcoin fees have gotten way higher for that. Alright, let's see. This is something we're going to just talk about here a little bit later. Actually, we'll just go ahead and do it now. I'll move this chart up here. So, I'm sure y'all been seeing this short position increase. I did not. I thought it was like, I got up earlier today and was like, what? That's not for real? 10,000? And no way. And so this guy named Squeeze said, this is the first time in 5 years of trading Bitcoin that I've seen an increase of almost 10,000 BTC in less than 3 hours on Bitfinex. And yeah, let's just go ahead and jump over to that. Yeah, what is this, y'all? What is this? What the hell? in 3 hours, we went from 2250 to, you know, 32 or 33,500. I'm sorry. But yeah, what is that? Totally, it's the biggest move by a pretty good, like, just nominal amount of 10,000. There hasn't been a 10,000 in that short of a time span ever since this data has come out in September, or I guess August of last year. You have a couple like 8,000s here. You have one here. That's another like 8-ish thousand. 8,000 seem to be the kind of the norm. The only time you've seen such an abrupt move is on sell-off. So you have one right here. So you go from about 22 to about 12, and then there's another one right here. So they've only been to the downside. Very interesting. We have not seen a move like this almost in most of the bear market to the upside. I guess a little bit back in here, but this was still before it kind of officially rolled over. So this is definitely notable. I'm not really sure how to interpret this yet. I think we need another couple days to go by, but apparently a lot of people are not believing this rally at all. They're like, nope, screw you, dude. I'm getting short right here. You know, Bitcoin has been coming up to this resistance point that we've been targeting for the last couple weeks. So, you know, maybe just everyone's looking there and they're like, oh, we better get short. To me, though, this is a little bit dangerous that they piled in so abruptly. They could get face ripped real easy. This could even give fuel to a bigger move here relatively soon. So, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what y'all's thoughts are. If anyone's listening live, chime in. Also, if you have any questions or want me to look at a ticker here in a little bit when we go to the market overview, then please put it in the chat. All right, moving on. Oops, sorry. Crypto exchange Bittrex invests 10% stake in Malta-based blockchain firm Palladium. Palladium is a precious metal, part of the platinum group of metals. It's actually pretty awesome. Not related to this, that's just a side note. So here you go, US-based Bittrex, now the 18th top crypto exchange by total average trade volume, has bought a 10% share. So Palladium announced plans. They want to distribute the first initial convertible coin offering, or ICCO, in partnership with Bittrex and a e-sports bookmaker Unicorn. Why are we like going backwards in language? Like we're just removing letters. It's like Durkern. We don't need vowels and stuff. Just remove them. It's like the cool thing to do now, or it has been, not just recently, but anyway. So there's some other I don't know these other guys, Unicorn and Investar Holding. They own pretty much everything else. So, but this is pretty interesting that the ICCO is already approved by Malta, and the project is regulated under European Union rules. So that's pretty large. And Bittrex is playing with them as a U.S. company, so that makes it even kind of more interesting to me, because you know how it is, the regulatory landscape over here. It's like, oh, we can't do that, but we see it all the time. These U.S. companies are working with foreign companies, and whether it's an exchange or data or just general services in the crypto sector, they're still working all in the back end, even though the SEC is like, oh, well, I don't know, because they don't care. They know the SEC can't really, I mean, they can do stuff, but they're laggards. They're going to come to the party late for sure, and not even fashionably late either. So apparently this will be the first one, and the main difference between ICCOs is that the tokens will be convertible later into company shares, and in this case about 3 years after the issuance date. So that is pretty cool. It's almost like I guess, you know, EOS kind of did that. They made a token on the ERC20 before they actually like released it. So it's kind of like, but this is more traditional, and like you raise capital for a large business, and then you're going to go public maybe later, and then you can just convert your shares. Pretty cool idea. Love to see all these different ideas coming to fruition. So in the Bittrex crypto exchange, also, if y'all don't remember, we talked about it. when that got announced, the VCA, the Virtual Commodity Association, with Gemini and Bitflyer. I can't remember the other one or two off the top of my head, but they're pretty much making a self-regulatory body to help push and talk to, you know, the SEC and governments and other regulators. So that's a really good thing. We've been needing something like that for a while. Also, this is something I did not know. We're about to go into it. Bittrex partnered with Ripple earlier this month, or last month, I guess, because it is September. Earlier last month, to provide a healthy ecosystem of digital asset exchanges, along with Bitso and coins.ph. Never heard of coins.ph. So let's go talk about that a little bit. So I guess coins.ph is a Philippine company, and Bitso is in Mexico, just south of where I'm at here in Texas. So they want to build that healthy ecosystem, and some of the info in here is pretty cool. So a financial institution that has an account with Bittrex would initiate a payment in US dollars via XRapid, which instantly converts into XRP on Bittrex. The payment amount in XRP is settled over the XRP ledger, then Bitso, through its Mexican peso liquidity pool, instantly converts the XRP into fiat, which is then settled into the destination bank. So that's a little bit of a mouthful, but it's pretty much all this settling on the back end happening lightning fast, way better than anything that exists now in traditional finance with ACH or even a wire, which are usually a lot more expensive. So, you know, XRapid wants to be the liquidity solution. They want to be like the new Swift, which is awesome. We do definitely need something like that because Swift kind of is clunky and very centric. We'll just kind of leave it at that. We've seen several successful XRapid pilots already. We have the vice president earlier this summer kind of leaked that Amazon was playing around with them. Yeah, I don't know why that hasn't really surfaced that much. It was kind of just like, oh no, shut up, sweep that under the rug. But yeah, so they're doing lots of pilots with XRapid. I know Santander worked with them a little bit too. That was announced a long time ago. And as we move from beta to production later this year, so they're planning on going full live in production this year, guys. Yet another info and tidbit of the foundation of crypto just getting bigger and better and stronger across the board. I mean, I don't think I've seen the fundamentals in crypto and Bitcoin this strong ever, but we're like selling off and real fidgety with price and stuff. But like, I mean, I would love to debate that and talk with someone like that, but not like go into details. But man, it really just seems like there's just so much stuff. You got backed, and the SEC is going to approve one of these here, I believe, at least at the latest the first quarter of next year. If not even a surprise one like this year at some point, because no one thinks it's going to happen. Yeah, so the fundamentals are just constantly growing in here. And so they want to be able to do this, right, like Swift, to move seamlessly between different currencies. And I dove into that on that video a few weeks ago about the Amazon thing. Guys, they pay $250 billion annually in just interbank transaction fees. 250 billion bucks out the window because of transaction fees. And they're Amazon. And their settlement times are like, you know, still days. It's crazy, which they talk to about here. The pilot of the XRapid platform, which was testing in this instance between US and Mexico payments, reported transaction savings of 40 to 70% and an improvement of speed from 2 to 3 days to just over 2 minutes. If that doesn't provide value, and you don't understand that that's value for money transmission, which is like the largest business on the planet, I don't know. We just probably won't be friends. I don't know. I've thought that about crypto for a long time too, but then everybody would be like, oh, Bitcoin, it has high fees and blah blah, it can never scale. Yeah, alright. Just keep thinking that, and then when this sector just continues to blow up, you'll just be more pissed and more pissed. And that's okay, you know. Not everybody can understand, I guess, the interworkings of finance. They are pretty cloudy and gray, that's for sure. Let's see here. The Ripple chief cryptographer, though, a while ago, he said that banks are unlikely to deploy blockchain to process international payments, citing low scalability and privacy problems. Yeah, privacy problems, I'm not sure where that stems from. Scalability, kind of. Like, that's going to be resolved, though. This is just the beginning, y'all. Come on. We just said it. Like, that's just like the scare tactic, almost. There will be scale, and it's going to happen. When you get discounts like this, oh, yeah, believe me, companies are going to make this start working way better. Way more better. And also, settling all those payments in fiat, this directly will help a company like Amazon and international companies. And the recent announcement of them going into China, they're going to try to do it with that too, with that back-end settling. I mean, that would be huge. It'd be huge, man. So, Ripple. And Bittrex. Funny, Bittrex was hated on for so long, and they have weathered the storm. Cryptsy doesn't exist. MintPal doesn't exist. A lot of y'all probably don't remember a bunch of these old ones. Polo has weathered the storm too, especially being bought by Circle. But Bittrex seems to be kind of more independent, which is awesome. Good job, guys. Can't remember that guy's name. Starts with the R. Their main head dude. Doesn't matter. All right, let's jump into some markets. So still hovering here in the 230s in the billion area. That's okay. We talked about that yesterday. If we want to just go sideways here and let the market digest this move, that's perfectly healthy and fine. I am looking for us to make a run to 250. That would be the next kind of stop we need to close over and consolidate around. Preferably, we need this volume though over here. We've been talking about the last like 4 days. This needs to pick up a little bit. That is the one thing that is concerning me, is we're not getting lots of fresh. Like over here, you can see where it goes kind of sideways, and then you get these two big ass bars, and then we get some nice follow through with, you know, 70 to 100 billion flowing in real quick. Yeah, of course it got sold off, but you know, we need to see that for continued move up. We're not getting lots of fresh money yet. Let's go see some of these daily moves here today. Let's go ahead and look on the 24-hour. Put that on. Oh my goodness, we got to filter some of this garbage out of here. Let's go to at least 400-ish million market cap. So Bitcoin Cash being the best performer, about 4% today, or the last 24 hours, I should say. XEM is up there. We have been talking about XEM a lot. It's funny, it's up about 8%, or 0.8%, 8% on a weekly basis. But, you know, we've been looking at that. The Petro is built on new economy movement. And there's a lot of other like projects going on to NEM as well. They've been around since 2014, so they've been weathering the storm too. And I did just get out of my paper trade on them on yesterday's video or the day before. It just was kind of boring, and my time stop was pretty much hit, so it didn't make a move within my parameter on time, so I got out of it. The risk grew too much for me. As you can see, though, we're kind of up. Dogecoin got slapped. Of course it did. I heard something about Doge Ethereum or Doge Ethereum. I don't even know. That's dumb. I really don't care about news when it really involves price. As I've said before, Bernard Baruch, a good trader, said, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. It is very true. News is just applied to price action afterwards most of the time to justify it. Now, of course, there is moves that help it go, but it really just depends on the market, because even, remember back when Japan said, hey, it's legal tender now in the country of Japan, which is huge news. It didn't even do anything. Bitcoin did nothing for like a month. It was like, who cares? That was really wild to me, because I expected it just to run, just go bananas after that, but it didn't care. So, yeah, a lot of people were citing that Robinhood was the catalyst for that, but that was announced back, you know, a long time ago in July, so that, you know, maybe it was that. I don't know. I don't think it matters. Price. It's price. It broke out. That's it. That's all you need to know. You don't really need a reason per se. Like, you got price right here on an hourly, let's see, and it breaks out. Oh my gosh, hourly on Doge is so crazy. So many bots. When you have this big candle right here and then continued follow through on the 21 exponential for, you know, how many 4-hour candles is that? A lot. You can see from here to here with no, just even above the blue dots was which is the triple exponential moving average, which I use. Y'all should check those out. They're pretty cool. They work very differently, and I have it on set as 33. I just kind of noticed it's a good trend, kind of temporary trend. Maybe you can use it as a management tool is kind of where I like to use it. So when this closed below it, you're like, oh, yep, that momentum is kind of gone. But we are hovering around the 21 now, so let's see if it stabilizes there. This was a very large move, so I wouldn't be surprised if this just pretty much gets sold off back down to regular Doge levels of, let's say, 40, 50 Satoshis. So other than that, though, guys, the market has been kind of quiet. Not super great movement-wise. Let's go look at market caps and the tops. Yeah, cash looks like it's doing the best today as far as top 20 coins go. Other than that, everything is real dead. It's kind of a boring day today. Let's go ahead and jump into the Bitcoin chart. Here we go. Already getting resistance. We talked about it yesterday. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, that this will be hardcore resistance if it gets here. It did. We got a daily closing in about 30 minutes. I'd like to see it close over this trend line cross price of about, let's just call it 7,300. If it doesn't do that, that's not going to be a great look. It is still above this trend line, though, for sure. Let's go into some internals on the oscillators. We are getting above that 25, 26 level that we like to see on DMI, though. So that is a bullish sign. RSI still is well below 72, so it still has some room to run. Volatility is just non-existent. You can see here it is dead flat. So we did talk about an easy push, especially with these shorts just popping in. Like, that's, no one wants to believe it. I know everyone's real skeptical about a lot of rallies. It's almost like that denial phase part of the market psychology graph. I'm not sure exactly if we're right there, but it kind of seems like that. Like, any pump we get, everyone's like, oh no, hell no, sell it. And I'm like, well, wait, you can't, wait, well, maybe. But it seems like they've already trained everybody. Instead of, like, buy the dip, it's like, sell the rips all the time and get short. Like, that's the new MO for most people, is what I've kind of noticed. Let's go to big screen here. Let's get more real estate. What is this? I got some notifications. Oh, just some stuff on my Doge chart. Yeah, so we're getting rejected here so far. Let's zoom in a little bit on the 4-hour. Big volume on this candle on this shooting star doji. That is not a great candle, especially with that volume with it. Don't really like that. Just up this trend line here that we drew. You can see that it didn't have enough really divergence for this, and it kind of popped a little. And now we're over that trend line, but we're still right even with this area, so it is still kind of printing that divergence, something to keep an eye on. RSI is showing it actually a little bit more. Zoom in on that, you can see it very clearly right here, still hovering below 70. But yeah, this shooting star doji on the 4-hour is not great. Let's see if it's on the 8-hour. See, it doesn't look as bad. It's more of like indecision, but on the 4-hour it does not look super good. So I took my long off last night from my paper trade, because I only paper trade, you know. And so I took my long off there because we're at resistance. See, we've been targeting this move for weeks. We got it. So take it off. As I always say, you can get back in. You can always buy back in. But if it falls from here and you lose all your profits, you're going to get pissed, and your emotional capital will be stressed, and you'll start making worse decisions, and then maybe lose more money. So now you're in it, and now wait for confirmation to blow up. Or to go up. Like, so if we can get a close above kind of this area and definitely above this trend line cross of about 7,300, you know, then the momentum will probably continue to up into this lower part of the box at least. But right now, we're kind of getting a little stally. Let's go on the hour. Hour's still okay and bullish. It is above that 25-26 area on the DMI, so that is not terrible. Bears are still below the 15, so they still are a little bit weak. Yeah, so we could definitely get some nice action here when the markets open, traditional markets open tomorrow morning. I'll be real curious to see how it acts this week, that's for sure. But I did take off my leverage long paper trades here just to wait for confirmation, because I just want to lock in profits. Managing winners is really important, y'all. All right, let's go to Ethereum, see how they're playing. Okay, we played around with this little idea of it breaking out, and here's your risk to reward box. So it already kind of is playing around in the red zone, which is okay. That's why you drew it. That doesn't mean close out. We've talked about that a lot. Just because you're getting tested, don't trade emotionally because you bought here. This candle happens, and it's inside your zone. You drew this before you had confirmation bias. Don't let this shake you out, because if that does happen, it does shake you out, it's almost guaranteed that that price is going to go up into your green box. It's really funny how it works. It's like the market just knows you so well. Yeah, but here we are still hovering above the 21 exponential on the 4 hour. We are battling. Ethereum still showing lots of relative weakness. On the daily, we still can't get above the 21. We keep getting rejected, and all of our exponentials are below the longest term now. So that's not the best sign on Ethereum, but it's also not a surprise. It has been showing relative weakness for a couple weeks now minimum. So, you know, it's nothing really any different. We're still consolidating in this green box that we drew back over here. Y'all can see it kind of in the background here. So that's it. It's still price. It's trying to get out of it. It's battling. Another test, another fail. Let's see if it can try to get out of there. On the 4 hour, 1 hour is very neutral. 4 hour is neutral-ish with a slight bullish bias on the 4 hour, maybe like 53% bullish. Daily is kind of like 53% bearish, so you could just say those wash out. It's kind of funny. Let's just look at it on the see, that's why I like to look at price, guys. I've talked about that a couple times here lately. Is like when you go in this sideways box range, your oscillators aren't going to give you that much information. So since it's such a tight range, I mean, we're on $25 range on Ethereum, so that's really small range. So just wait for price to kind of break out of here with conviction. That's what we're looking at. It's still been the same, which is going to be outside of this box at around $300 with a support of about $270. All right, Litecoin, the LTC, baby, Charlie Shrem, looking all right. Coming up to almost test this. Almost got there. Is a couple dollars shy. All the exponentials on the daily are below the longest term moving average here, which isn't the best sign, but let's erase this line because that is irrelevant now. It had busted through it. And now if you can see these blue dots here, I know they're probably kind of hard to see on the TEMA, the triple exponential, you can see it is turning into resistance now. So let's go ahead and chalk up. We need to close above 68 here to get bullish once again. And there is some slight like the most minimal divergence you could get on the DMI, and it's almost exactly the same on the RSI. So that's not really enough yet to confirm that. We are still staying above this 21 on the 4 hour too, which is a good sign. Battling with it on the hour, and on the 850. We just now are kind of getting over this 26 area, so that's a pretty good sign. There are still bullish factors on Litecoin on the higher time frame charts. On the 3-day, I'd really like to see the DMI get below this 26 area here, which looks like it's getting some momentum to possibly do that. So just keep an eye on that. Litecoin's kind of easy right now, 68. I don't have a position in Litecoin right now, but if I did, I would be stopping out at probably around 63, 64 bucks. All right. Let's go to the rips. Mr. Ripple. Oh, they got me. Dang it. Dang it, Bittrex. Gotta go down here. I don't have no data. Same shit, different day here. We're still battling with this trend line cross from this action and this action here, which is at about... Oh, got a little lag there on my computer. Which is about 36 cents. We talked about it yesterday. Nothing has really changed on this chart at all. Let's see if we even go down to the hour. If anything, the bulls have lost a little bit of momentum. Just ever so slightly. But this, again, I will be looking for price more so than the oscillators. If it can hold about 33 cents, 33.5, that'll still be pretty good. So nothing really too much to talk about there. Let's look at Ripple's little bro. XLM. Same kind of boat here. Still chopping in this range that we boxed off a few weeks ago. Nothing too exciting. This is a 4-hour. Let's go to the daily. Still holding this support. You can see the dots right here. So we're looking at about 21.5 cents as decent support, but it is getting rejected on the daily. 55 exponential moving average. Pretty hardcore for the last since the 18th. Every time it gets over there. So do keep an eye on here. We're in a super tight range. You could almost make this range 22 cents to 24 cents. And just kind of wait till it breaks out of there to give you some confirmation, because other than that, that's not really giving you much more. All right, let's go to EOS. The EOS. Look at that, coming right up on here as we talked about. If you had a long on, I played it on my paper account from about right here in this mid fours. There's that alert that we still had on it. Never touched it after only this one little brief hammer candle, and then it's pretty much hasn't looked back. It's been riding up the 21 exponential moving on the 4-hour ever since. But we did come up into this hardcore resistance of this channel, which goes all the way back to April, which was the last kind of boom, right? Springtime boom. So I took everything off actually before that happened. If I go to the daily, I actually took most of that off in this candle here before it even touched that, just cause like I said, I like to manage winners, take some money off the table. I will re-enter on EOS if we can break out of this channel on a nice good engulfing daily candle with volume that is over this engulfing candle's volume here over these two, which is about 13 million. So that's what I'm looking at there. Bulls are pretty strong on the internals on EOS. It's showing a little bit more relative strength, I would say, than most of the other coins at this moment. The 4-hour is starting to break down ever so slightly, though, today. In the last 10 hours or so, we are getting a little weakness. But keep an eye on that. Monitor it closely. Your stop on this, if you are long here, I would put it at about in this range here. This is about 570 or so. Looks pretty good. Let's go look at Verge, because I saw Verge doing some big moves the other day. I know that this was, I believe, Dogecoin. No, and just talk about it because this was like Dogecoin Dark, I believe. And it just turned into Verge, the newest, coolest privacy coin that's going to take over Monero and everything in the world, y'all. You know it is. So here's Verge's chart. Nothing happened all up in here. And then a lot happened. It was one of the bigger movers, going from, you know, Doge prices to 2,000 Satoshis. So if you can imagine that, that's a pretty hefty gain. Oh, we don't have any of the horizontals. Alt-H, you can put those on real fast. Boom, bam, and boom. So we got those. Oh, they're red, though. I do not like that. That is ugly. So I'm going to have to modify those. Bear with me here for a second while I do that. Sometimes it's easier just to modify the line and then re-put them on there, because I mean, once you do that, it kind of defaults. Alt-H will default to the most recent one that you drew. So there you go. See. All right. So Verge is looking pretty good, actually. On the daily, looks pretty bullish. 4 hour looks bullish. 850 looks bullish. Hourly looks kind of neutral. So, but again, I don't really trade off the hourly. I mostly don't go below 4 hours. It's not really worth it. Are finding resistance here at the 55 exponential, which is at about 280 sats. So if we break over that, it's very likely that we go up and test like 350. So there's the Dogecoin dark. All right, let's go into equities since they did just open. I know some people don't care about that, but y'all should. Opportunity is everywhere. You should diversify in your investments. You shouldn't just all be in crypto. I know people will hate me for saying that, but that's okay. So we did break out. We were watching this breakout here last week, last Sunday night, and said that if it, on the Monday session, if we just go and come out the gates good, we would have a little bit of continued action, which we did. We had probably about 30 points of action going up. So that was pretty nice. Kind of just lollygagging around up here. Oscillators are pretty bullish on the daily. Let's go on the 3-day. 3 days bullish. And wow, and the weekly is bullish, y'all. Wow, so that is pretty crazy. I mean, what is there, bearish time frame? Hourly is neutral. So there you go. But it's still ever so slightly bullish because you do have, if you zoom in here, you do have this hovering right around the 26 area. So it's like a schmidget bullish. But when you have daily, 3-day, weekly, 4 hour, and 850 all bullish, that's pretty crazy. So we've been talking about it getting long on maybe some options, sell like some spreads, something like that. Might not be the worst idea, although we are getting resistance here on the blue dots, so that's interesting while we hover around the 21. So do be cautious here, but it does look pretty damn good. Oh, and I do want to make a correction. I'm sorry, the 4 hour does not look as bullish. It is neutral. So 4 and 1 hour are neutral on the ES, which is the SP500 if you're not familiar. It's the largest traded index on the planet. Here is Nasdaq. Nasdaq still looking pretty damn good. 4 hour is bullish. Daily is bullish. 3-day is bullish. Weekly is extra bullish. Jesus, guys. Markets look like they're about to just go into full retard mode. I just can't. I know it's everybody, like, you started seeing CNBC, we're all like, oh, hey, man, you know, we're at all-time highs. It's all-time highs. Usually they try to do that to scare people. And I've been seeing a little bit of fear in that. Guys, this market is not, like, we're barely hitting highs from some of the old school tech companies. Like, let me pull up Intel for you. Okay. So, Intel, you know who Intel is. They make chips and all that good computer component stuff. So, yeah, if we zoom out on this, oh my gosh, let's go to a monthly because there's just too much data here. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is the tech bubble right here, the peak of it. Intel hasn't even got to those highs yet, right? Which is at $70, and we're sitting at about 50 bucks now. So, you know, I just think it makes more sense that we make a new tech bubble, because just to smash records, and you know what would be really good for that? For that catalyst? Cryptocurrency. Imagine if Intel and everybody really officially said that they're using XYZ coin, or whatever, which one it is. Dude, they would go bananas. Like, if Facebook really bought Coinbase, like, what would Facebook do? Like, quadruple in price? I don't know. I'm just, obviously, speculation, because I don't know shit, but still, like, it's just pretty mind-blowing to me. Because even if you go, let's look at just the general index itself, the Nasdaq. If you go back, like, we just barely broke out of the highs, when was that? This summer. So it's only been, you know, or I'm sorry, not this summer. That would have been 2 summers ago. So on the general index, and of course that's mostly led by FANG stocks. Y'all know them. Apple, Facebook, Google. Let's just go check out the FANGs here. Oops. didn't do the ticker right. It's AAPL. So Apple's up here at new all-time highs, just getting it in. Let's ratchet down on the time frames here a little bit. Yeah, as you can see from DMI, it's been incredibly bullish. Oh my gosh, this is super bullish. Usually don't see markets to get some long delta. That is kind of my play right now because I don't think that this is over yet. Let's look at Facebook, everyone's favorite. Oh yeah, see, Facebook isn't really participating in any of this, but there's zero volume down here. Totally weak. Let's put our horizontals up here. Bam, bam, bam. So you can see now the bulls have been creeping in ever since this original sell-off. And if y'all remember, I made a video on this, like around here on one of these days, and I timestamp all of them so you can check them out, and easy navigation, etc. So if you notice this, I referenced it to this point over here, that it was going to create a similar structure, and it's definitely has. It looks almost like as identical as it could be. It's rhyming very well, that's for sure. So Facebook's one I've been filling put spreads on sell-offs because I think Facebook is going to have a little face ripper, at least up to, if we do a Fibonacci retracement here, measured move, you've got it at about 200 bucks. As a retracement from that sell-off. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, is about $190 to take that off and manage it. How about Netflix? Since we're going to go through the fangs, let's go ahead and do it. Netflix had a nice little bounce. And bulls look to be back in the mix here. Go ahead and put our horizontals on here really fast. Yeah, so bulls are in the mix on Netflix. It's looking pretty damn good. Man, imagine if Netflix said, oh, we're gonna take Bitcoin. Oh man, that'd be crazy. I just don't think we've seen like the full serious FOMO in crypto yet. Like, did your grandma buy it? Maybe some of y'all's grandmas, but probably not many of them. All right, let's see. Let's go to, we did Nasdaq, let's do the Dow Jones, because that's the one that's lagging right now. So, and this, we've been talking about this too on the segments for markets. We need, like, it would be pretty light. It's very likely that Dow is going to get to all-time highs. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a headline here in the very near future that says, markets all-time highs, all of them, everyone, they're all breaking out, everything's amazing. And then when they start doing that, then it'll be a little different, because the timing it'll take to do, what is this, step 1? So you got barely, okay, we'll just call it 2 months, 2 solid months, all right? So that's going to be a nice roller coaster ride for those 2 months. And I think we're going to ratchet up right now, just like that good old roller coaster does when you first get on it. Click, 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 click. And then maybe we'll have something like this, because if we keep running up, then we can sell off a good 3 to 5%, and then it just still puts us right back in this range, which is bullish. Now, I know everybody's like, nah, equities are overbought, man. It says it on there, man. Totally says it on the oscillators. See, look, it's overbought over here, dude. It's like, whatever, overbought. It should just be, it shows strength. Overbought and oversold are the improper terms, I believe, to use for RSI. And if you go to some of my other videos, I talk about RSI a lot. And I am going to do a series just on the indicators that I like to use in some of the things I've noticed, how people use them, in my opinion, what I believe is incorrect and not how they were intended to be used. Like, the media just sells you certain things. Oh, you look over 70, it's overbought, that's all you need to know, sell it. Okay, so if that happened back here on Dow Jones, well, what was this? Look at this, it still went up, you know, 3,000 points. You know, it was overbought. It was overbought in quotes. You can't see me yet. I will be doing videos soon. I just got me a camera, so I'm setting all that up. But yeah, so you got overbought, but it was overbought for what? 2 months? Yeah, no, that's not overbought. That means it has strength. That means the bulls be strong. Just like DMI showed here when they got over here, it didn't show any weakness until on the daily, until this close here. This one here, right when it busted the 21 exponential. So But yeah, when you want to manage stuff, you want to actually ratchet your time frame down. Maybe you enter on on a daily, but then use, you know, a smaller time frame to kind of get out of there, so you don't have to wait for a close. That's kind of how I play the time frames for that. All right, let's go to oil. I like to talk about oil a little bit. Y'all know I like to trade oil a lot. So on the hourly, we are getting resistance. We are staying firmly beneath the blue dots here, and now we are staying beneath the 21, but we're sandwiched also between the 55. So this is extremely neutral. Yeah, here you go. It says neutral on oscillator there and there. How about 4 hour? A little, like, slightly more bullish on the 4 hour. How about the 850? 850 still pretty bullish. Actually, it looks, yeah, it looks pretty damn bullish, actually. So, yeah, we're looking at here. If we break this, though, the 69 level, 69.50, yeah, we'll probably come down to test at least in this consolidation range, which I would say about 60, 68.5 or so. And there's options on these. If y'all trade options, they're very liquid. Oil is an awesome product. It doesn't really have correlation to much things. It kind of does its own shit and trades, and it has two-way action, which is amazing. So for traders, if you like that, you can see this channel has been going all year. So it's giving you plenty of opportunity. Let's go check out gold, see if it's trying to do anything here as markets open at 5 p.m. The futures markets do. My time here, which is Chicago time. Let's see, gold. Yeah, now we're coming out of this channel, boys and girls. Not a great sign. As y'all know, I am and have been bearish on gold over the last couple weeks here. I thought we could get a little bounce here. We did, but now this channel looks to be already breaking down. With dollar strength looming around the corner, like, this gold is not going to heed well with a powerful dollar, period. And usually dollar goes up towards the end of market cycles. Let's go ahead and just look back. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you go to especially in the tech bubble, which is where I think we're more like right now. So you can see here is 99, had a big sell-off. This was a currency crisis, though. There was a catalyst for that. And then got it all back. And look at this. Rallied all the way into and stabilized at the top of its range almost during the entire .com bubble. And then finally rolled over towards, like, very end of it. You can see here, too, in 08. And you got everything selling off. Everything sucks. The banks are getting hit hard. But then look what happened when it really started kicking off. You know, it was latter 08 and early 09 where the really brutal moves were, and this literally, the dollar ripped from 70, low 70s to high 80s in that time frame. All right, so when that happens, that puts immense pressure on emerging markets, commodities in general. It's and businesses too. It's tough. No one wants their currency to be too strong, right? It's not good for trade. It is good for manipulation and doing things. King dollar loves to do that, which we've talked about, where Venezuela cites that being dollarized. Iran is talking about that too. We talked about they're doing their own crypto. It's pretty wild. Everybody's going to do their own crypto, y'all. It's crypto dance time. All right, let's go to final thoughts here on the Bitcoin, just to recap. So here we go. Still the same kind of deal. We are still pretty damn bullish though on Bitcoin. I just the reason I took off my longs on leverage on my paper account was because we are coming up to this resistance. I talked about it yesterday. We've touched it 1, 2, 3, kind of 4-ish. It's between 4 and 6 times, depending how you want to exactly draw it and how you want to count. But it's between 4 and 6 times. So, you know, that's a lot of damn touches, and it hasn't been able to bust out of it yet. So let's see if sentiment has shifted. Something notable again is those shorts we talked about earlier. Why the hell did those come in? That's the biggest move ever, and maybe that does perfectly coincide with everybody just denying any rally that has happened in the last couple of months, or few months, really. They're just like, no, this isn't it. We are going down. It's death. Bitcoin to 3,000 to 5,000 is where you see a lot of people talking about. So, but with this, how I'm trading it, I'm not going to get back to leverage longs unless we break out of this range and then just play it to about somewhere in the lower part of this red box that we've had drawn on here since July. Or I will do a little scoopy if we come back and test this trend line as well as the orange moving average, which is the 55 exponential. So that's what I'm looking for. Those are my thoughts on the market. Again, this is No Noise Research with your host, Z-Rex. And I'm signing off. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Good luck trading. Happy trading. Don't forget to live your life as well, okay? Go have fun. Don't sit in front of computers all day. It's not good for you. Go jump in the water. Go to a lake. In Texas, that's a great thing, especially when it's 105 degrees outside every day. All right, ladies and gents. Much love. Peace.